Good morning, welcome to our TED Talk about language and culture. So as you know, language and culture are flip sides of the same coin. When you have one, you necessarily have the other. As language educators, we are already fully aware of this.
No matter how we define culture, it is an essential part of our language, our past and our present. As a matter of fact, language is an integral part of culture. Without cultural relevance, language becomes nearly useless.
As language teachers, we are always looking for methods to make our lessons interesting or dynamic, right?
Yeah.
So we usually do our best just to maintain students interested in our classes and to foster a student-centered class.
Okay, so if you are committed to engage your students and make your classes more active than ever, you're in the right place.
In the right place, yeah.
Culture, it's an absolutely powerful hook. It can boost the interest and motivation of your students.
So here we are going to provide you with 5 powerful techniques to include culture in your language classes.
Yeah. So, tip number 1. Redirect your role in the classroom from instructor to facilitator. Well, when we empower students to become active participants of their learning, we are giving them tools, not only for a class, but also for their lives.
But how can a teacher empower his students?
Yeah, that's a good question. This is the right way you could address your classes. We should provide students with questionnaires about what they like or what they find to be interesting or important. We provide them with a measure of power over what they get to learn and equip them with great intrinsic motivation and connectedness to the materials. Besides, we could allow students to bring in their own reading material and present it, and then share stories, thoughts, opinions, ideas that are important to their cultural and social perspective.
Tip number 2. Expose your students to authentic materials.
Authentic materials?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Well, authentic materials are what native speakers use on a daily basis. For instance, you find yourself walking on the streets of London when suddenly a man hands you a flyer. You look at it and you discover that it's about a free concert that evening. So what you have in your hands is authentic English material. But why a flyer is an authentic material? Because unlike English language learning textbooks or podcasts, a flyer has no intention of ever teaching English. So exposing your students to authentic materials gives them an overview about how the language is used on a day-to-day basis by native speakers. So it means that it takes the language out of the classroom and into a natural setting. In other words, it will demonstrate to your students that the language is alive and that there is certainly a whole culture behind it.
Tip number 3. So, compare students' own culture with that of the target language. Your students' own culture can be used as a basis for learning the target culture. Let your students to appreciate their own culture while they make comparisons regarding practices and traditions with the culture they're learning. You can, for example, highlight positive attitudes or behaviors to which we are accustomed due to our cultural patterns. In contrast with some practices of the target culture that doesn't seem to be so beneficial for us.
Tip number 4. Encourage your students to reflect upon differences among people and cultures. When you show your students the importance of recognizing the differences of others and accepting them, you will have succeeded as their teacher. Since teaching is more than conveying information to students to repeat it. We are part of the world, therefore classes are the right place to show customs, rules, and attitudes of different countries so that the students can become aware that English is more than a subject. In fact, it is the bridge to understand and value their own culture and the others to finally encourage open-mindedness.
Open-mindedness?
Yes.
What's that?
It is the ability to discern and understand that our culture is not the only one that exists. since every time we go to another place, even in our country, we can observe several subcultures with different ways of thinking and linguistic discourses. So adaptation is part of being an open-minded and cultural person.
Number 5. So, fostering coexistence and tolerance into the classroom in order to decrease the levels of bullying. So, this is truly essential since a classroom can become a battle zone.
A battle zone? Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely, yes! A classroom can become a battle zone if we are not aware of fostering coexistence, tolerance, and respect among students. Even if we are teachers, provide students with tools to intimidate someone else instead of respecting and putting on someone else's shoes. Therefore, a teacher should be so passionate and believe in his students, to foster a pleasant environment where students can feel that this is the right place to learn, to make mistakes, to express their opinions, disagreements. So, in here we need to give a good example since we are the immediate model for them.
In a nutshell, teaching culture using language can be as powerful as a bridge that connects people and places.
A good class of culture and English can be the difference and the way to solve several problems we have nowadays in our society.
As we provide students with tools to explore the world, travel, enjoy, and live, and at the same time to recognize that these differences make us unique.
So, thanks for watching.